Now, today, Christians are not known as people of the book, but what are we known for most today? What word summarizes Christian in the minds of the secular world? You got it. Hypocrite. So, so there's a big shift, and there's a reason why that correlation stands because we have gotten away from reading the Bible, we've gotten away from studying the Bible, and we've gotten away from applying it to our lives. So we really need to make sure that we cultivate that desire. And the best way to cultivate it is if you don't have a desire to read and study, you better find a quiet place and spend some time with the Lord in prayer and ask Him to give it to you. So we need to really follow the steps of the Bereans here. And Luke said about them in Acts 17:11 that the Bereans were more fair-minded than others, receiving the word with all readiness, searching the scriptures daily to find out whether these things were so. So it's important that we keep this idea in mind, that we have to have a desire to read and we have to actually do it. So once you have the desire, now you need to select a daily reading Bible. Okay, so for this Bible, you can use any translation you want. Pick whichever Bible you gravitate towards. What Bible pulls you in? There are some Bibles, and this could be if you like to listen to the Bible instead of reading the Bible. You need to find something that will actually get you to listen or read or consume, be washed in the Bible every day. Don't let it sit on your shelf and collect dust. That's the worst thing that you could do with the Bible. An example, I would use an example. I have audio Bible. It's called the Word of Promise Audio Bible, and it's a brand new Bible on audio that's MP3, and I have it on my computer. I have it in folders, and I listen to it. That's part of my routine every day in the morning. Is I listen to 3 chapters a day. I listen to a chapter of the Old Testament. I listen to a chapter of the wisdom books like Psalms, Proverbs, and then I listen to a chapter of the New Testament. And that captivates me more, being able to sit and listen, than it does for me to sit in the morning and try to actually read the book. So it may be the format, it may be the version. You may not be able to read the New King James or the King James Version. It may feel stilted. It may feel confusing, especially if you're a new believer. But if you had a living Bible, you could sit down and read that, and it would be easy to understand. So you'd want to pick one that you use for your daily reading. Now, the important thing is that you get one that you will read and then you read it. It's a good idea to read, to set up your reading schedule so that you read the Bible through completely at least once every year. And about 3 chapters a day will do it. And if you read 3 chapters a day, it will just get you about the entire Bible through in 1 year. Now, every so often, read an extra chapter or double that up, a few days a week, and then you will definitely get through the entire Bible in 1 year. Then the next thing you need to do is get yourself a good study Bible. You've been doing your daily reading. You've got your Bible, whether it's in print form, whether it's on the internet, whether it's an audio and it's reading to you, whether it's a CD version in your car. It doesn't matter. You are listening or reading the Bible, portions of the Bible every day. So the next thing you want to do is look for a good study Bible. Now, I don't mean the Bibles that are sold as or marketed as study Bibles. In fact, those Bibles are actually not very good. You want to steer clear of those, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is I view these as pretty worthless because they intersperse within not only the text, but in the footnotes and in between the different pages, in between the different chapters, they intersperse the Bible with all kinds of different commentary, all kinds of different second-hand and third-hand opinions and background information and that kind of thing that is extra biblical. And I've had several Bibles like this. The first Bible that I read all the way through was an NIV study Bible for men. And though it was a good Bible, it was good for me at that time. I would never get another one like that again because you want for your study Bible just the word. And in fact, I would even steer you clear away from cross-reference Bibles or anything like that, because what you really want for your study Bible is you want a Bible that is just the Bible and nothing else, because all the cross-referencing you want to do yourself, and we'll have tools to do that. Now, the next point is, especially if your daily reading Bible is a paraphrase or a thought-for-thought translation, you definitely want to use a formal equivalent Bible for your study Bible. And what I mean by that is you want a translation that is translated word for word So every Greek word, every Hebrew word that is in the Bible, the translators have found an equivalent English word or equivalent word in your language that you're reading. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to get as close to the original as possible in your study Bible. You really want to get an accurate rendering of the original text in this Bible, because this is the Bible that you will use when you have problems. So an example would be if you're sitting in church and your pastor is preaching about a certain topic and something hits you wrong and you say, well, no, that's not correct, or I remember reading this somewhere else. Then you would jot that down and you would go home and you would look that up in your study Bible, and not your paraphrase and not your dynamic equivalent, because those can be interspersed with other people's opinions. And don't get me wrong, there's problems with formal equivalents too, but not nearly as bad. You're getting closer to the original the farther you go on the scale towards formal. So you definitely want your study Bible to be a word-for-word translation. Some good examples of formal equivalent Bibles are the New King James Version, the literal translation from J.P. Green. Another one that's not mainstream is the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. The English translation of that, as far as I know, that's only available online with computer software. But you could get that as an interlinear, and we'll talk about that further into the program. It's an excellent translation in English because it is so close to the original. It's so close to a word-for-word translation. You can really see the nuances of the language differences. So I don't recommend the King James Version simply because it is too hard to understand for most people. Now, if you did really well in English and you really liked Shakespeare when you were in school, maybe you would like the King James. Maybe you are a seasoned Christian who has studied the King James your entire life. Then by all means.